Clem, the crypto market is burning, and you predicted it 2 weeks ago. So what was the catalyst, you think, that caused this whole thing to start tumbling? And where is the reentry point, you think?
Well, you see, the English have a phrase, and the phrase is Muppet. Now, Muppets will say, oh, somebody said this. Oh, somebody said that. Oh, somebody did this. Yeah. People who talk like that are really lambs to the slaughter. Yeah. Let me give you an example. You got a mountain, and somebody starts yodeling. Don't yodel, Mr. Yodeler. You'll make an avalanche. Oh, look, you've made an avalanche. It's all your fault. Of course it's not. It's all the heavy snowfall that's been going on all winter. Now, whether Mr. Yodeler yodeled, or a sheep stepped in the wrong place, or a tree shook some snow onto some snow that made an avalanche, or somebody fired at a bird with a gun, that avalanche is going to happen because of the snow. Well, Bitcoin was too high, had to come down. And all it takes is, what people call a catalyst. But it's not the catalyst's fault. A catalyst can't make a rocky mountain have an avalanche. Just can't do it. Has to have the snow. So it's the snow you watch. It's the snow you look out for. And then when you see it hanging off the top of the mountain in huge lumps, there's going to be an avalanche. And you don't go that way, because somebody might yodel over there. Someone might let off a firearm. Some tree might drop some snow, and bang, you got an avalanche. And it won't be the tree's fault. It won't be the hunter's fault, and it won't be the yodeler's fault. It'll be your blooming fault for walking underneath a mountain that's absolutely jam-packed full of snow, which has been coming down for months. And if you look at the Bitcoin chart of 2017, it's a guide. It's a guide because nothing's changed apart from one important thing. Well, two really. One, the halvening, and two, the brand has got bigger. So when the halvening happened, what happened last time is going to happen too. It's going to double. Well, it did more than double. It did more than double because the institutions got FOMO and they piled in too, which made it even worse. We got even more snow on the mountain. Well, when the famous yodeler Musk goes yodelay, or somebody fires off their firearm, or some goat steps in the wrong place, you're going to get an avalanche, and here it is. But you can see from the chart that Bitcoin was not going anywhere. It could not go up. Well, there's only three ways you can go in a market: up, down, or sideways. Well, it ain't going to go sideways, is it? If it can't go up, and it's gone up a huge way, and last time round it came down in a bump, it's going to do it again, isn't it? All we have to do is look at the chart, and there it is. Photographically, I wrote pieces for Forbes, and I wrote pieces for Seeking Alpha. And, they've been very, very successful. I'm number one on Seeking Alpha right now with the simplest of charts. Just look at the one 4 years ago and the one now. They're the same. They're identical. And when it breaks, it's going to do this. And it broke and it's doing that. Now, if you've made a lot of money in Bitcoin by, believing in the gods of money, and then it's going to go to the moon and never come back, and you're going to hold it forever because you have no flipping clue about markets, but you've seen a few YouTube videos, you're going to get hurt. And boy, they're going to get hurt. Now, and I feel sorry for these people because most of them will go and never come back. Well, it'll take 4 years for them to come back, probably. And then they'll be buying at the top again. And then when it comes down, they'll be going, oh, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. Someone did it. Someone said something. Right? This is how markets work. And if you do your homework, you'll see that. And if you do your homework, you'll make money. And if you do a lot of homework, you'll make a lot of money. Now, that's really good news. Now, I don't really want to say told you so to all those people, but I told you so. The important thing is, incredibly important, apart from the fact, please just do your homework, do the research, learn about markets, for goodness sake. But beyond that, if you just want to take somebody's tip, you might as well take mine, because I called the bull before it went up, and you can read that on Forbes. I called the bull when it got near the top, where I got out. It's now back down there. I called get into DeFi and buy Matic when Matic was 11 cents rather than the $2.40 it was yesterday, and on and on and on and on. You can read all my stuff there, it all is. It hasn't gone anywhere. The stuff that I called in 2007 for the crash there is still there. And the stuff I called at the bottom of 2007, it's still there. So you can read all that. So if you're going to take anybody's tips, listen to what I'm about to say and think about it. Do your research, do your homework, because this is such a golden opportunity. It takes my breath away. And I probably shouldn't say it because, if too many people think it's a good idea, it will bend what happens next. But people aren't listening. They don't care. They think they know it all. So that's good. So what I'm about to say will go on deaf ears. You can guarantee it. So it's a 4-year cycle. It's 4 years because that's how often there's a halvening. Okay? And there's a halvening. And up it goes. And everybody piles in because it's all about branding and intangibles. And up it goes, bang. And then it goes way, way too far. And then it comes down in a crash. Because the actual audience is not sophisticated enough not to get too excited and then not to get too terrified. So it's up like a rocket, down like a rock. But in the meantime, between now, when it's coming down like a rock, and then when it goes up like a rocket, you've got 3 years of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the other stuff being as cheap as chips. So you can just pick it up. Slowly but surely, dollar cost averaging it, la 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 la, like I did. And then you'll have a big lump of it when it goes ballistic. And then, please, get out up near the top. Don't try to get the top. Get out when you can't sleep at night anymore. And you'll have made a lot of money. Now, just if that isn't enough, here's another one. Obviously, DeFi is going to come down into the dumps. And so is NFTs. But they'll come back. And they'll come back in a year or two. And they'll come back before cryptocurrency does. And there's an opportunity to jump on it when they come back from the dead and make some decent money. But the big one, the really big one, is the category that doesn't yet exist. In the same way as DeFi didn't exist 2.5 years ago, and NFT didn't exist as far as the market was concerned to a matter of weeks ago. So if you watch out for them, if you can spot whatever it is, ERC 936.AB tokens or flappity in decentralized, whatchamacallit, whatever that weird and wonderful wacky thing is, you'll be able to get in there for nuppers. And that stuff will go from 5 cents to $100. So that is just a massive opportunity you're going to get given and you're going to miss because you're not going to be watching. So for those that want to skill up and take the next 3 years to acquire good stuff, find the right tokens, actually look out for the new thing, or maybe 2 new things, or maybe 3 new things that are coming, and who will be acquiring Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crazy broken DeFi tokens, and maybe even the little NFTs. Come 4 years' time, we'll make an absolute fortune. And I can tell you, 4 years is not that long away. So while most people will be crying and will never come back, the smart people, who are hopefully already out, but if they're not, then they're going to hodl into the ground this time round, just need to allocate a little bit of money every week to nip in and buy some Ethereum, nip in and buy some Bitcoin, and hold out and spot some, really broken DeFi that's, really quite good. And maybe an NFT, and still remaining on the lookout for that new thing. Meanwhile, every week or every month, whatever your budget allows, pick a little bit up. Because come 4 or 5 years' time, we're going to be at the top of the market. And guess what? It's going to crash and everyone's going to cry. But hopefully you'll be out before that by then.
You mentioned that the halvening is the catalyst that'll cause Bitcoin to rise again. Since this has happened twice, do you think that the third time will be too transparent and people will catch on to the trend?
Well, I don't think people think that. I think they think all sorts of magic. Yeah. And, I write these articles and the torrent of random statements I get from people that have clearly got, serious amounts of capital tied up, had serious amounts of capital tied up. Yeah, makes you believe that they just believe that it's going to go to 1 million and, all you got to do is hold it and it'll go to 1 million and it's going this time and it's not going to stop. And it could happen, can happen, not likely to happen. Yeah, the whole thing's not likely to happen, but has. The thing is navigating it. That is important. So, yeah, maybe they will, but they will shift it. Maybe it'll happen earlier. But you've got to be on the watch out for what happened last time and the time before to get the signs that is on its way. But remember, it doesn't matter because you bought little bits of it for the last 3 years. Doesn't matter whether it happens early, doesn't matter whether it happens late, doesn't matter whether it happens on the day. You've acquired when it's been cheap and everyone else is going, oh, this is rubbish, this crypto is rubbish, I got hurt, it's rubbish, oh, it's worthless, oh, it's boiling the oceans, oh, it's rubbish, oh, they're going to ban it, oh, it's rubbish. Yeah, and you'll hear that for 3 years, but you've been buying, oh, you know, Bitcoin's only $12,000 a Bitcoin, and I bought 0.1, isn't that great? Oh, 3 years has gone by, I've now got 6 Bitcoin. Oh, that's good, isn't it? It's a lot of money for me, 72 grand, you'll think. And then suddenly it'll be $750,000, you won't be able to sleep at night. Well, that's fine. Sell.
So what is unique about Bitcoin and maybe cryptocurrency in general that it can't trend sideways?
Well, nothing ever can. Nothing ever does. Not even bonds. Yeah. I mean, you know, even Karl Marx in his grave gets eroded. Yeah, it's just not the way that stuff. The only thing Bitcoin can't do, the chart can't go from right to left. That's the only thing it can't do. Mm-hmm. But the next thing it can't do is just go that way. I mean, even the dollar doesn't go that way because it oscillates in value, etc., etc., etc. Everything oscillates because the world. Oh, this is going to get technical now, but this is the sort of thing you've got to look at. Signal to noise ratio. Volatility is signal to noise. Signal is what is really going on. Noise is just a load of people running around screaming. And as you can imagine, there's a vast amount of that in crypto. Yeah. So, you know, no. I mean, if you pull back enough and you squish your chart down small enough, it'll look straight, but it'll always pulsate. You just can't, no market ever goes sideways like that. And if it ever does look like it's doing that, somebody's fixing it. And that always leads to a nasty accident.
So, Clem, what do you think would be a good re-entry point for the big cryptocurrency coins and tokens?
Well, I got to say, I got to confess, I got COVID recently, and my hunger for trading has gone to zero. Now, if you like to trade, this is your moment. This is trader's heaven if you're any good at it. If you're not, it'll wipe you out. But anyway, those who choose to trade, here you are. This is your moment. If you want to invest and you're in, well, you've got to decide what you want to do. If you want to be in and hold it through, or you want to get out and get it in lower, or hope to get it in lower, you know, you've got to make that decision. If you're out, as I have been now for quite a long time, I mean, what I did is I got out about here actually, and then I flipped into DeFi, and only flipped 25% into DeFi, but I got things like Farm that went up 6 times, Rarible that went up N times, Matic, which I bought at 3 cents. Yesterday was 240. I didn't sell it at 240, I must say. I sold it at 17, but I bought quite a lot, and I'm a Lambo up. Let's just put it that way. And a number of these DeFi coins, I made as much money in that because the alpha is so massive in DeFi that you don't want to put your capital all there, because if it goes against you, it's going to kill you. So you manage your risk, you manage your positions. So I managed my positions. I made as much money as I would have made in crypto up until it got to sort of like in the top 50s. So that was good. So I'm happy with that. So, but I'm out because it got crazy as far as I was concerned. So I left, and I made a little bit of money on NFTs, but that started out crazy, so I didn't hang around there. And then I was just sat on a pile of cash, and I'm waiting. I'm not giving up on crypto, as you might have picked out from what I've just said. It's going to be massive over the next 4 years. But when to get back in? Well, the good news is there's no rush. There's absolutely no rush. Yeah, you shouldn't bother with worrying about that. 6 months, yeah, who cares? You've got all that time. Yeah, you don't have to make it every day. You're not making dinner money, and if you are, you've got a big problem. But if you're not making dinner money, and you can time it, well, you know, stick your crypto in Aave or in Compound. I prefer Compound, or in BlockFi if they ever come back from their little trip up today. Hope so. And just, you know, get some 5 or 6% yields on it while you wait. Why not? Why wouldn't you? And then, well, actually, why you wouldn't now, because probably the transaction fee is probably $500. I mean, it's triple what it was yesterday. But anyway, in due course, it'll calm down. And then just pick your spot. I mean, where's it going to go down to? I believe it's going to go under 20,000 quite easily. I think it will hit 12, 13,000 quite possibly. I think it will be twice what it got down to last time, give or take. It won't be exactly the same, but between 10 and 20,000. But don't try to pick the bottom, not unless you've, God spoke to you and told you where it was. Just buy a bit every week. Just buy a bit every month. Whatever your budget allows, just buy a bit. Just stack it, as the gold bugs would say. Because you've got 2.5 years, maybe 3 years to stack it. And if you buy at 20,000, it goes down to 12, and you bought some at 12, you bought some at 14, you bought some at 15, you bought some at 13. Do you really care? Well, if you do, you're in the wrong game. Yeah, so you just keep buying it. You dollar cost average it. And when it has a little bit of rally, because some Chinese miner did whatever they did, and it pops up to 18, you go, oh, I make quite a good money there. But you're not playing for that. You're playing for the $90,000 in 2025, isn't that? Or is it 2024? That's what you're playing for, because it will double, you see. Maybe not as much. Maybe it won't double. Maybe 80,000. Maybe it'll be 100,000. Maybe 120,000. Wherever it gets up to, everyone's going to say it's going to double. And then it'll come crashing down again. So, you've acquired, and you've got in at 12 or 13,000. It's 60,000. You've quadrupled your money. It's 75,000. You've done more than that. 100,000. If you're not sweating by then, something wrong with you. Yeah, and that is how it will play out. And what I did this time, and I will probably do again, is as it goes ballistic, I'll be looking at the fringes and breaking little bits off and putting them on the fringes. I mean, Doggy Coin will go back to 4 cents or something, and then they'll go back to 50 cents just because the world will go mad again. Yeah. So you look at the fringes, and then maybe you push a little bit out, because why would you go all in when you can do a 10x on something? Well, everyone's going to say, well, because you could do a 10x on something. Wow, don't you want to do a 10x on all your capital? But that is naive, and that's that's tyro thinking. That's what they say over there, sophomore thinking. It's no, that's not how you do it. You do it by managing your position size with the risk that you're taking. And if anyone wants a pro tip, go look up the Kelly criteria. Kelly criteria. And then think about your positions. Because I'm betting there's a lot of you out there who look at the Kelly criteria and go, ooh, no, I got too much. Anyway, Kelly criteria, it's the gold standard or position sizing. If you're going more than that, you're going to have a bad day. So, in a nutshell, I reckon 6 months minimum. But, you can't really tell. But as soon as it goes under 20,000, I'm going to start sniping at it.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. Follow us on Twitter, iHub_vision, and good luck out there, everyone.